Welcome back to the Brew Bowl. This is the final game of round one of the new season. This was actually a PC game between myself and Fohammer. So it's the Death River Revengerz being played by me as an NPC team versus the Ascalon Gladiators, which is played by Fohammer. Unfortunately, there was an issue with OBS and the audio was lost in the recording. So we're going to be doing this one like we did once last season as a summary game. But I will also edit in the interviews from the start and end of the game because I do have Fohammer's audio and I was able to rebuild my audio from my notes. So we'll cut over to that now and then you can see how the game turned out. That's right, sports fans, we're back to bring you another awe-inspiring match of the Brew Bowl, a Blood Bowl 7's tournament proudly sponsored by Bugman 7X. It's the final game of round one of this new season tonight, so once this game is done, we'll have a solid view of how the teams are faring after the first round of the competition. We've already seen some incredible brutality and some real upsets so far this round, and I'm hoping this game will be the cherry on top of the proverbial cake. Tonight's match is something of a rematch, as these two teams have faced each other in an exhibition match of Street Bowl towards the end of last year. Tonight's home team joins, or perhaps rejoins the Brew Bowl, following defeat in that exhibition match. That's right, tonight we bring you the Death River Revengerz, an orc team built from the remnants of what was once the Death River Reavers. They are back in the Brew Bowl and looking to re-establish the dominance they held early 2 seasons ago. The Revengerz are facing the team led by their once manager, the Ascalon Gladiators. The Gladiators are, of course, our reigning champions of the Brew Bowl. Last year, they scraped into the playoffs in 7th place before upsetting previous season's winners, the 2nd place holders, Lauren Forest Drakes, absolutely dominating 3rd place holders, the Some City Blight, and then taking the final 3 touchdowns none against the 5th place Axtolo Coatls. Bolstered by their win last year, I'm sure the Gladiators are back tonight looking to grab an early hold on this season of the competition. It just so happens that I have Gladiators manager Bungo Quickfoot in the Cabalvin studio with me tonight to talk about the match. Bungo, welcome back to the show.
Well, it's great to be here as the reigning champion.
So, Bungo, tell us, how does it feel to return to the Brew Bowl for a 3rd season, this time in charge of the reigning champions and Golden Mug holders?
It feels great, but in a way, it feels like we're kind of in the same position that we were at the start of season 2. Even though we have the championship and we are the coming back into this as arguably the one of the more dominant teams. It feels like people still don't quite take us seriously. That, a lot of people talk about how, as you mentioned, we just barely scraped into the playoffs and seemingly had a lot of luck in the postseason to go to the championship. But again, we're out here to prove that, me and the girls, we deserve to be here, that we're real contenders here, and we're going to prove that by coming out strong and hopefully go on to a 2nd championship.
You finished up the last season with an incredible roster of players. Even with the prize money, I'm sure it was hard to work out how you were going to fit all those players into your budget. Looking at your roster, it looks like you prioritised your highly skilled positional players. Having players like this who are initially immune to the draft gives you an incredible edge in the competition. How do you rate your chances on this season based on this?
Definitely got some skillful players coming back. We did have to unfortunately let go of Smopley, but Smopley fans, don't worry. She could potentially be back at a later date. We just got to find a way to redraft her into the team. But yeah, I think it definitely gives us an edge going into the start of the season. Certainly against the Revengerz, where they're completely unskilled. But we'll see how that shakes out with the inducements and see if that levels the playing field or not.
Of course, Bungo, we need to acknowledge your opponents tonight are sort of a recreation of your first season team, managed by one of your former players. Their loss in the Street Bowl led to some attrition among their ranks, and the Revengerz are now looking like a fresh yet inexperienced team. I doubt there'll be much trouble you for tonight, but let me ask you, how do you rate your opponents?
Well, you can never underestimate an orc team. They can definitely bring pain to the pitch. And Wilhelm, if I can, confess for a moment, this feels like running into, like an old ex again. It's just, we just cannot put the past behind us, it seems. And here we are again facing what's, left of the Reavers from season 1. And it just, while it's good to see some old faces and stuff, we just want to come out strong and, hopefully put this matter to rest and see if we can, start out the season strong.
Now, I'm sure the fans are going to want to know, Bungo, and maybe you can say, maybe you can't. But in the exhibition match, the fans noticed some chemistry between one of the Orc linemen and one of your players. That player, Woxic, is no longer in the Revengerz team, but let me ask you, did anything ever come of that?
Yes, actually, and this was something I was going to ask you about, being, a reverend yourself. I hear that they are engaged now. And Blythanera, and I'm sorry, I forgot his name. I'm, still trying to get, or yeah, those orc names, they always confuse me. But yes, they are engaged now. And would you be willing to officiate the ceremony coming up soon?
I don't know. I'd have to check with the Church of the Night Prowler and see whether my Reverend Doctorship actually entitles me to do that. But we'll see.
All right. You're going to have a potentially a Brew Bowl wedding here. But yes, so what that, leaves in the the cards for the future for Blythe and Nira, I'm not sure at this point, but we'll just have to see what comes of this.
Well, looking ahead in the competition, let me ask you, what do you think about the field? Are there any teams out there that the fans should be especially looking out for?
Well, of course, as we have seen from the first round, the Coatls are definitely a top contender again. They, despite taking a lot of punishment, they still came out on top, but at what cost, sort of thing. But then, of course, on the flip side, the Butchers, even though they didn't foul very much, were certainly very violent in that match. So I think that's another contender to watch here for potentially causing a lot of injuries and taking out a lot of key players for some of the more dominant teams.
Thanks for that, Bungo. All right, before we head down to the pitch, is there anything else that you'd like to add tonight?
I would just like to make a comment in regards to Lord Hunger's assertion that halflings are nothing more than field dwarves. He's not wrong, but that's definitely kind of rude to say. That would be me like saying vampires are nothing but thirsty ghouls. Let's just try to keep it civil. I know we're all out here to win our matches, but there's no need for that kind of trash talk. Let's keep it on the field.
Great, thanks, Bungo. All right, fans, it's been a hell of a week, but we still have one more game of heart-pounding action for you. You've come here tonight to watch your champions perform, and I'm sure that's exactly what they're going to do, or die trying. Either way, I'll be happy. Let's stop talking about the match and get to watching it. It's time to head down to the field and watch some Blood Bowl. So, for deployment, the Revengerz win the coin toss and decide that they will kick off to the Gladiators in the first half. The ball comes down behind the Gladiators' line, with Nerepoli catching the ball on the full. A storm of raining lava bombs means that some players may be distracted while watching the skies to avoid injury. Gladiators turn 1. Blythanera starts off with a blitz against the Revengerz mercenary. Although the two players end up matched for skill, Blythanera wrestles her opponent to the ground. The majority of the Gladiators move forward to form a defensive line in front of the ball carrier. Creantor runs through to foul the fallen mercenary, but can't get through his armor. Revengerz turn 1. Umdor Wolfstride blocks Creantor back before Gonsrid moves in to mark the fallen Blythanera, while the Merc stands up. Karzik moves in to deliver a foul on the down blocker, but not only is the foul ineffective, but Karzik gets caught by the referees and sent off for the rest of the game. Gladiators turn 2. Blythanera stands up, and Sabi delivers a block to Umdor Wolfstride, knocking the Biggin down on the spot. Hippolyte steps in to mark Gughuk, and then Visera blitzes through, knocking Gughuk back and running past the Orcs line. Nerepoli runs around the outside edge of the field and throws an easy pass to Visera. Finally, Creantor steps in to mark the Orc players and keep them from rushing the Gladiators' ball carrier. Revengerz turn 2. Umdor Wolfstride stands up, and the Revengerz Merc tries to throw a strong block against Blythanera in order to force the Orc players to go after in order to free up Orc players to go after Visera. However, the Merc's block doesn't deliver the result he'd hoped, sending him to the ground and ending the Revengerz play early. Gladiators turn 3. Seeing an opportunity, Visera runs in to score a touchdown and put the Gladiators up 1-0. Revengerz turn 3. After the reset, the Gladiators' kickoff goes deep, but bounces over the back line for a touchback. The Orcs give the ball to Wurzok, one of the two blitzers. Nylok the Fang runs up to mark Blythanera before the Merc blitzes her, knocking her down and stunning the blocker. The other Revengerz players run forward with only Gughuck making contact with the Amazon's line. Umdor Woolstride is too distracted by falling lava to act during this play. Gladiators turn 4. Ripley runs over to mark the mercenary before Visera blitzes into him, knocking him down, and running up the field to mark the ball carrier. Creantor moves up to mark Gondrid before Hippolyte attempts to foul the Merc. The blow knocks the Merc out, but Hippolyte is caught by the refs and sent off the pitch. Revengerz turn 4. Nylot the Fang manages to push Celebrity back. Umdor, Woolstride, and Ulod each take turns at blocking Visera, but all they can do is move the blitzer around. Wurzok takes the opportunity to run up to the sideline, moving in behind Nylot the Fang to become a real scoring threat. Gladiators turn 5. Before the Gladiators can begin their play, a fireball is cast out of somewhere in the stands. It hits the ground between Blythenera, Neripoli, and Snepathy, though it only manages to re-stun Blythenera, who was already prone. Visera runs back to mark Wurzok before Neripoli blitzes into the York, knocking him down on the sideline and sending the ball into the crowd. The fans throw the ball to the other side of the field where Snepathy runs to collect the ball. Creantor and Sabi both throw effective blocks, knocking Gondrid down and Gughuck back respectively. Revengerz turn 5. Ulod runs into Mark's Snepathy, which leaves Gughuck to dodge away from Sabi, then blitz the ball carrier. The two Orcs are unable to take her down, only sending her back down the field instead. Nylot the Fang steps in to apply pressure to Ripley and Visera, and Umdor Woolstride moves to mark Creantor. Gladiators turn 6. Looking to make scoring impossible for the Orcs, Snepathy dodges away from Gughuck and Ulod and runs across the pitch to hand the ball off to Visera. Visera runs up the field. There isn't time for her to score, but she can kick the ball away from the Orcs. Blythenera knocks Nylot the Fang down, and Ripley pushes Wurzok over the sideline. The Orc blitzer manages to avoid any injuries, however, and returns to his team dugout. Revengerz turn 6. Unable to get the ball back and score, the Orcs resolve to do some damage and hope to improve their lot in the second half. It takes the combined efforts of Gondrid, Gughuck, Umdor Woolstride, and Ulod to knock Creantor down, and to knock Sabi out. The halftime whistle blows, and the Gladiators go into the break still with a 1-0 lead. Deployment for the second half. As the Revengerz set up to receive the ball in the second half, the Gladiators' kick goes deep. The Orcs are quick off the mark, but rather than getting closer to the ball, their two big uns get closer to the opposing team. Revengerz turn 7. The positional players all move forward with the mercenary once again blitzing Blythenera. Blocker goes down stunned once more. Gondrid and Ulod go for the ball, with Ulod picking it up and starting the long trek down the field towards the opposing end zone. Gladiators turn 7. Creantor and Snepathy each run around the outside of the Orc offense line, looking to put pressure on the ball carrier. Visera blitzes, knocking Wurzok down and out of the way, stunning the Orc blitzer in the process, before running through to mark the ball carrier. Sabi also blocks Gughuck, but doesn't knock the blitzer down. Revengerz turn 8. Umdor Woolstride tries to knock Neripoli back, but he can't knock her down. Gondrid blitzes into Visera, knocking her down, and Ulod runs up the field before attempting to throw a pass to the Merc. Neripoli is able to maneuver as the ball is in the air, and she marks the recipient. The action is moot, however, as the pass is poorly aimed and the ball comes down on the ground in front of its intended recipient. Gladiators turn 8. Blythenera, sick of being knocked down by the Orc mercenary, gets up and knocks him to the ground, knocking him out in the process. This allows Ripley to scoop up the ball and move to throw an easy pass to Snepathy, who runs the ball down the field to deliver the Gladiators' second touchdown. Revengerz turn 9. 2 points down, the Revengerz set up for their next play. The Gladiators' ball once again goes deep, and the Orcs try to repeat their previous drive, with the Merc blitzing Blythenera, and once again stunning her. Ulod gathers the ball for a second time, ready to take it where it's needed on the field. Gladiators turn 9. Not going after the ball carrier initially, Visera blocks Gughuck, knocking him down. Snepathy moves forward to mark Wurzok, and then Sabi knocks down the mercenary. Creantor uses this opportunity to foul the Merc and manages to stun him. Revengerz turn 10. Hoping that the second time is the charm, Ulod once again runs down the field to throw a pass, this time to Wurzok. The new pass is worse than the last one, and Ulod inadvertently throws the ball into the crowd at the side of the pitch. Ripley moves to try and get close to the ball so that but is tripped as she moves away from Gughuck. The ball is thrown back in and lands between Ripley's stunned form and Gughuck the blitzer. Gladiators turn 10. The Gladiators decide to start by having Blythenera stand up and foul the mercenary. The foul is bad and obvious, and bad and obvious, as Billionaire is sent off for the rest of the game, ending the Gladiators' play. Revengerz turn 11. Desperate to get even a single point, the Orcs start by having Umdor Woolstride push Nebity back into the crowd, where she's knocked unconscious. Wurzok goes for the ball, but the Blitzer fumbles the pickup and the ball is left dangerously close to the Gladiators' 2 star players. Gladiators turn 11. Ripley manages to push Wurzok back, which lets Visera grab the football and start running towards their scoreline yet again. Creanta tries for another foul on the Revengerz Merc, but can't get through the armor. Revengerz turn 12. Ulod and Gondrid run after Visera, with Gondrid delivering a blitz. They can only push the blitzer back, so they push her into the edge of the field, hoping to limit her options to get away. The remaining Orcs gang up on Sabi and end up knocking the blocker out. Gladiators turn 12. Ripley manages to mark Ulod, which allows Visera an even opportunity block on Gondrid. The block is effective and Gondrid goes down, giving Visera a clear run to the end zone and the Gladiators' 3rd point. The match ends with the Gladiators going up over the Revengerz 3-0. What a match, Bungo. I thought you were going to win, but I didn't expect that final result based on where you're at half time.
Well, that makes 2 of us, but these these girls are definitely surprising. They have a lot of skills, and they put them to good use and can really surprise not just the fans and the other team, but even surprise me.
The game felt really personal there, especially with all those fouls.
Oh, it got personal with that mercenary. What's his name? Muscle Milk? Where does this guy come from? All these guys, these mercenaries always seem to have something against the Amazon. So yes, that got really personal. And yeah, I wish we knocked him out a few times, but this guy just kept coming back. I really wish we could have put him, in the ground permanently. But I guess I'll have to wait until next time we see him.
He certainly seemed to be the antithesis of your team. I don't think tonight is going to be the last you'll see of this Merc in the competition.
I might also see if I can have Basha maybe do some legal loopholes here and see if we can, maybe have his mercenary contract revoked or something.
So, looking ahead, are there any particular teams that you're looking forward to facing or not looking forward to facing, as the case may be?
Well, I'll say the same thing that I said last year. No one ever looks forward to facing the Butchers. Well, as their name implies, they butcher the other team. That's always a really hard team to face. And thankfully, they're farther down on the leaderboard, so I probably won't have to face them for a while. But Acorn is just always crazy. So, but looking more to the immediate future, of course, I think it would be interesting to see a rematch against the Coatls. See if we can, show the world that we still have what it takes, or maybe the Coatls be able to take advantage of us. But of course, then we have the new Norse team, the Kodiaks, which I think I want to face the Kodiaks, and of course, didn't get a chance to do it last year, but face Rents and the Enslavers is another high priority team, and probably want to test my mettle with the Amazons against the Hammerers as well. So those are definitely some teams I'm looking forward and not looking forward to facing.
Great, thanks for that, Bungo. Well, sports fans, that's about all the time we have for you tonight. Bungo, thanks for coming along to represent your team, and congratulations on the win. To our audience at home, the first round of the new season, the Brew Bowl, is done, but we've got 7 more fantastic rounds still to come. So make sure you stay tuned to Cabal Vision. Good night, and we'll see you next time. So that's the end of the match between the Gladiators and the Revengerz. So well done to FOMO for that result. That's also the last match of this first round of the competition. So we'll be back soon with a match report a round report for the round, and then in short order you'll start to see more games coming up, both on Tour Play and of course here on YouTube. Don't forget to come and chat to us on our Discord or at the Epic Game Rule Discord. Or just enjoy watching the shows here, and please don't forget to like and comment. We'll see you next time on the Brew Bowl.